Hi, I'm Craig Rowland, founder of Sandfly Security. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to use Sandfly's agentless Linux security platform to automatically track and protect where SSH keys are going into your network. We call this new feature SSH Security Zones. SSH keys on Linux are notorious for being mismanaged. They get scattered all over your enterprise. They show up in authorized key files. They never get deleted. They never get updated. And attackers could frequently put their own key for persistence and lateral movement mechanisms inside these files to make sure that they can move around in your systems completely undetected. SSH Security Zones is Sandfly's solution to this problem because it allows you to set up areas where you want keys to go and to get alerts if unauthorized keys ever show up in those areas where you don't want them to be. For today's demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to set up a simple scenario. We have a small number of systems that we're going to flag as our production boxes. And we're going to set up a number of keys that can be authorized to access those production systems. And anything else that shows up on those systems that's not flagged as authorized for that production zone is going to generate an alert. It's as simple as that. We're going to go to our new SSH security area under here. And we're going to go, first of all, to our tag workbench. Our tag workbench is our ability to go ahead and show you what keys are present. So for instance, we see that we have about 15 keys present on all of our demonstration systems here, but we're interested in our production system. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to view all the keys that are present on our hosts that are tagged as production. I've already tagged 4 hosts with the production tag. These are the keys that we see present on it. We give the keys a human readable name. So Dicing Hurricane Candle is basically our translation of the random SSH key material into something that you can read. As you click on each one of these keys, we also show you what users are using that key, and we show you what systems that those keys are on. So you can always see again whether or not you want these keys to be present. For today's demonstration, what we're going to do is we're going to flag 3 of these keys that we know are supposed to be in our production boxes. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add a new key tag called production, and we're going to hit update. Next thing we're going to do is recreate a security zone we're just simply going to call production. And what we're saying here is that this production security zone should only have keys in it that are also tagged with that production tag on it. We're going to go here to production. Tag here under our host tags. And what we're saying is this zone should include any system that's tagged with production, or it could be any system tagged with development or any system tagged with your DMZ. It doesn't matter what it is, but for today, we're going to do production. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to say only keys that are also tagged with our production tag are authorized to be here. And I'd use production for today's demonstration, but you could call the keys whatever you want. The main thing, though, to understand is that keys tagged that are authorized to be in that zone are not going to generate an alert. Any key that is not tagged as part of that security zone is going to generate an alert. And that's really where all this happens. We're going to give our zone a name. Here again, production, pretty simple. You can put in some more descriptions about what it is exactly you're doing. And at that point, the zone is created. And you can see here it's actually red because we already have an alert. If I click on the production zone, I see immediately that it says has violations. I see all of my systems here that are flagged as normal. So these systems are fine, but one of them is flagged as an alert. Also, these are all my systems that were tagged as production. And you could see as soon as you did that, they were included in the zone. So that we have 5 systems here for demonstration purposes, but it could be as many systems as you want. If I click on my system here that's seen as red, we immediately get some information about what is happening. First of all, we see there's a zone violation. We see that there's some alerts in that zone. We can see here that these red shields are showing that there's a problem. The other thing here that's interesting is that you can expand out into our full screen and we could see all the keys present on that host. Now, again, there were 3 keys we tagged as production and 1 key that I did not tag. Of those keys here, these keys are normal. This key is an alert status. And I can see here immediately that this key is used by the user Johnny, and that Johnny has 1 copy of that key actually being used. Now, when I click on this key, what we can do is we're going to go to our key investigation, which you see over here. Our key investigation shows all the keys we see on your network that are SSH keys and the status of them, when we first saw them, how many people are using them, how many hosts are on and on and on. For today's demonstration, by clicking on this key, we see immediately that there's a zone violation and there's something called a rogue key on it. And what that means is that this key has shown up inside of a zone without a tag and that it doesn't belong here. Again, a couple things from our visualizer that's interesting to see is not only do we show it visually where that key is, but we also show the key use timeline. So you can see the first time we even saw that key. You can see here that it showed up on the 3rd of July. Other things that's interesting too is we could view our hosts. I could see immediately that this key is only present on 2 hosts. I can also see by clicking over here what users are using that key. I can see we have a user here called Johnny. And then very suspiciously, I see bin, proxy, and sync. These are Unix default accounts on the Linux operating system. It would be very unusual for these users to have an SSH key. So I'm immediately very, very, very suspicious about this. So I think that not only is this key in violation of a security zone, I actually think it's probably associated with an incident that we need to investigate. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ban that key. When you ban a key, then if that key shows up on any other host, it's also going to generate an alert. So if I go back to my host investigation here, we have this host here, Sandfly D drifted. This is our initial one that's showing a zone violation. But you can see now the Sandfly D kitchen sink is showing up with a ban key in use. So when I click on that, I could see immediately here that there's a ban key. I could see what users are using that key. And if I click on the sync user, for instance, I could go down here and I can see that that key is banned. It's in position number 1. They're also using authorized keys 2 file. I see there's another key here too in entry number 2. So I think now at this point, it's safe to say that this user probably has something going on here. So now I could go back, and I'm not going to do it for this demo, but I would want to investigate this Tamper Iguana kinfolk key, which again would be present over here in our key investigator down here, and I would want to see who else is using that key and where it is. And here I see it's only in 1 host, but you get the idea. So at this point, what we've done is we've made a security zone called production. We've identified keys that entered production that are not supposed to be there. I then saw that key, what user it's on that looks suspicious. I was able to ban that key and then see that ban key was being used on some other hosts that weren't inside my production zone. So now I can expand my investigation to see what's going on. Last thing I'm going to show you is that we can actually take these alerts and send them off to your SIEM tool of choice, because when we scan these systems, we will look for these key violations. And in our dashboard here, we'll show you the host with the alerts. We'll show you security zone violations. And also, too, we even show you new SSH keys. And this is really important to know. We'll show you all keys we see showing up so you can investigate those keys. But for today's demonstration, we're going to go ahead and view our host alerts. We have our host here, the Sandfly de-drifted, and we have our kitchen sink. Both are in alert status now. And we're going to go ahead and we see a couple different alerts here. First of all is user SSH ban key. There's a user here called Johnny, again with our ban key. We talk here that user Johnny has an SSH key, uproar equal lighted, which is banned. The ban key is a position 1 of the authorized keys file. It's very important to know what entry number you are in an authorized key file, because it's all random cryptographic text. We tell you exactly where to go in that file to find the suspicious key. This is really, really useful for an incident response. The next thing we did here is we saw that there's an authorized key zone violation. And again, user Johnny, that same key, they have an unauthorized key in the production zone that was not authorized to be there. Again, we show you what position it is in the file. But again, the important thing about it is all this information sent to your SIEM, the user, who they are, can they log in, their home directory information, shells, everything about that user allows you to start investigating it, and that SSH key information so you could do a bigger, wider search using Sandfly across all your hosts for potential problems. So that is the new Sandfly SSH Security Zone feature in a nutshell. A very, very powerful new feature. We do it completely agentlessly. That means we work on systems that are up to 10 years old, all the way through modern cloud. We even do embedded devices and notoriously difficult to monitor Linux appliances as well, tracking SSH keys. It's a powerful, great new feature. It's available in our free version. It's available on our website. And of course, you can always reach out to us if you want a full demo on how Sandfly's new SSH zone feature can help your enterprise secure security zones in terms of SSH key lateral movement. We'd be happy to help you out. So I'm Craig Rowland, founder of Sandfly Security. Thanks again for watching the video. Goodbye.